concepting a floating AI city for future space. Living in the not-so-distant future, humanity's greatest pioneers won't be astronauts in tiny capsules. They'll be entire civilizations living in cities run by a single, powerful mind. This is the story of how we might just build one. For centuries, we've looked to the stars as our final frontier. But let's be honest, the dream of becoming an interplanetary species is filled with some pretty impossible challenges. Building a permanent, self-sustaining home, off-world means fighting hostile environments, cosmic radiation, a lack of resources, and the insane logistics of building in a vacuum. So, what if before we take that giant leap, we first learn to walk on water? The problem: setting up a permanent colony on the Moon or Mars is one of the most complex things humanity could ever attempt. Any home we build off-world has to be completely self-sufficient. That means generating its own power, recycling every last drop of water, growing all its food, and dealing with its own waste. The staggering cost of launching materials from Earth means we have to build with local resources, a process that's still wildly experimental. And these colonies will face environments far harsher than anything on Earth, from brutal temperatures to deadly radiation, demanding next-level shielding and life support. Our attempts to create perfectly sealed, self-sustaining ecosystems here on Earth, like the famous Biosphere 2 project, have mostly struggled. This highlights just how ridiculously hard it is to copy what our planet does naturally. To succeed in space, we need a new blueprint, a way to test and perfect a truly autonomous civilization before we bet our survival on it millions of miles from home. Introducing the solution. The solution might not be in the stars, but in our own planet's oceans. Imagine a massive floating city, a home for thousands of people, operating as a completely autonomous system. This city would be way more than just a cool place to live. It would be a living laboratory. By designing it as a closed-loop system, totally independent of land-based grids and supply chains, it becomes the perfect stand-in for a space habitat. Here, we can tackle the enormous challenges of self-sufficiency in a controlled yet dynamic environment. Real-world concepts are already exploring this. Oceanics Busan, a project backed by the United Nations, is the world's first prototype of a sustainable floating community, designed to house around 12,000 residents on interconnected platforms. Similarly, Luca Curzi Architects has proposed a floating city concept that could house 50,000 people and aims to be a zero-energy city. By perfecting this model on Earth, we can create a practical blueprint for off-world colonization. How it works, the core mechanics. So, what's the secret sauce? At the very heart of this city is its true innovation, a central artificial intelligence that acts as its brain. This AI would be in charge of almost every part of the city's operations, making it a thinking, adapting, and self-healing place to live. First, the AI is the ultimate infrastructure manager. It uses a digital twin, a perfect virtual copy of the city, to run constant simulations. This lets it predict maintenance needs, optimize the flow of energy, and manage traffic, stopping problems before they even start. For the city's physical structure, the AI could use generative design, constantly evolving the architecture to better handle waves and weather. The city wouldn't just be built, it would always be building itself. Second, the AI would run a completely sustainable resource grid. The city would be a zero-energy ecosystem, getting its power from a mix of solar, wind, and water turbines. The AI's job is to optimize energy production and use it in real time. It would also manage a circular economy, overseeing everything from vertical farms and water desalination to advanced waste recycling, making sure absolutely nothing is wasted. The challenges and the human element. Of course, building a city governed by an AI brings its own massive challenges. Handing over control of a civilization to a single AI raises some pretty big ethical questions. We'd have to design systems with powerful safeguards and human oversight to prevent any catastrophic failures. Plus, the sheer complexity of getting thousands of autonomous systems, from repair drones to resource bots, to work together is a huge engineering puzzle. But the goal isn't to create a sterile machine. The AI's main job would be to make human life better. It would handle public services, tweak living conditions based on what residents want, and maintain green spaces that boost both climate resilience and mental well-being. By taking care of the complicated and boring tasks of running a city, it would free up its human residents to focus on research, creativity, and building a whole new kind of society. Floating AI cities are more than just a wild sci-fi concept. They might be a necessary step in our evolution. They are where we could prove that humanity can build and run a truly self-sustaining civilization. What do you think is the biggest hurdle? The technology, the ethics, or the human element? Let us know in the comments below. By solving these problems here in the relative safety of Earth's oceans, we could forge the key to our future in space. These floating cities won't just be new places to live. They will be the training grounds where we develop the tech and the philosophies needed to take humanity to the moon, to Mars, and beyond.